It's been a while, and I'm really glad to say that over the next couple of weeks, we are going to be releasing some one-shots with some really talented, wonderful, creative people across the TTRPG community. And joining us for our first one and helping us kind of kick things off in this special adventure that we're calling Couples Retreat, we are joined by John from 5e Trash and Nate from Dice and Desire. So if you guys want to say hello, introduce yourselves, plug your brand.
I am John from 5e Trash. I run a Twitter called 5e Trash where I post 5e Trash, and I also run a blog called 5e Trash. And I'm just trying to get that name in there as much as possible so people remember to
real subtle.
But no, I love to put together some like really goofy, silly subclasses and monsters. So like a Zadius, like a warlock for like a daddy patron. There's a Trumpian cleric in there. There is a wizard of compromancy, so using blackmail to like use your magic, and a bunch of other just goofy nonsense that I like to dream up. So yeah, come check me out.
And actually, this one shot is inspired by a monster that John created for Valentine's Day. If this all goes horribly wrong, it's John's fault. So we'll just leave it there.
Perfect.
Nate?
Yeah, and I'm Nate. First of all, please visit 5e Trash because it's a wonderful Twitter account. John is a wonderful man. I'm the DM from Dice and Desire, an actual play podcast. We're running through the Storm King's Thunder storyline from Wizards of the Coast. We're all doing it very, very badly because most of us have only been playing D&D for about a year. So in terms of things like rules and actual gameplay, we're probably as bad as it gets. But we're very funny, chaotic, and silly.
And joining us for this one-shot are cast members Louise, who plays via Isidrim, the Shader-Kai elf that you hope isn't stalking you, and Hephaestus Henderson, a Fire Ganassi warlock with her own anger issues. The character, not Amber, obviously.
Yeah, well.
Could be both.
I channeled through her. Are you lonely, miserable, or just plain horny? Well, you've taken the first steps to solving your problem. At least your dating ones. Welcome to D8. Devoted, desired, dreamy or dirty. Dapper dates for dejected daters. My name is Roz Graypurse, founder, CEO, love wizard, and seriously, I'm on holidays. Go solve your own poxy love problems. I'm off to Wintercame and my timeshare. A couple of days ago, Barbara, you received a note in the pigeonhole in your office in the local high school in Tezrab City. It had the trademark lip smack from the D8 Dungeon Services, and you've been meaning to actually cancel the membership that, unbeknownst to you, you had been registered for. Several of your colleagues are concerned that as a middle-aged spinster, you know, you're probably lonely. And, you know, as great in company as that delightful Ara Corcoran roommate of yours is, they feel it probably best for you to, you know, find a nice person and settle down like every good PE/woodshop teacher does. When you opened it, the letter effectively read that you have won all expenses to the Spring Fair Festival in the sleepy little town of Wintercame. How are the two of you heading out?
I suppose, considering Maisie's vast wealth that she loves just spending and throwing everywhere and wasting on things, that she would have hired a horse and carriage with a saddleman leading the steer so that her and Babs could relax and have a nice, peaceful, calming journey to Wintercame.
Okay. Babs, you have been not against your will entirely, but against your better judgment. You let Maisie pay for this deluxe carriage plus rider to take the both of you to Wintercame for the long weekend. And you find yourselves kind of cramped into the carriage. As deluxe and all as it is, Maisie goes nowhere without at least a 4-piece matching set of luggage. Two of which are filled with ceramic teapots and various different tea leaves and mugs and cups to drink out of and brew.
That's my Maisie.
The carriage ride is particularly uncomfortable, not because of the close quarters you find yourselves in, but the road to Wintercame is it hasn't really been tended to in a while, and while the rider isn't speeding down this highway, he is kind of hitting every bump and rock and turnover, and the wheels kind of turn and you're kind of jostled left, right, and center. And one of the boxes just kind of slams and kind of catches you under your arm and kind of digs you into the ribs.
Yeah, I just sort of shift away from it a little bit, and in doing so, a little closer to Maisie. Not quite a cuddle, but a little,
Yeah, and as she does this, just out of habit, because the two of them have been living together for so long, Maisie slips her hand in under Babs's arm and squeezes her hand and holds her hand as they sit in the back of the carriage.
Like friends do.
Like friends do, exactly.
There's just kind of a knocking sound on the roof of the carriage, and a moment later, a small little slat slides open, and you just hear a short, kind of pippy little voice. Excuse me, Mrs. But we has almost arrived at Wintercame. Best you get yourselves ready. I'm Tiny Thomas, and I've been your driver. And the slat just closes. He kind of threw an eye at the both of you holding hands. He didn't say much. He's seen all sorts in this carriage. Hank, you had signed up for D8 Dungeon a long time ago, but match after match, date after date, ghost after ghost, you'd kind of put it all out of the back of your mind, but recently you'd kind of maybe thought about getting back into the dating game, only if it means that you get to hang out with your best mate Mal a little bit more, get the old boys back together. That morning you had received some post, and in it a letter from D8 Dungeon signed by the wonderful Miss Roz Graypurse herself, alerting you to the fact that several days ago she had attempted to contact you as you had won a contest for an all expenses not included trip to Wintercame in a timeshare. How do you break the news to Malamar?
Mal, I've just found out that I've won this competition. You know me, it's not really worked out for me in the past with this dating lark. But I've won this competition. I think it'll be a good time. We might meet some girls. We might meet some people there that are worth our time. I'm not holding out much luck, but you've been a bit unlucky, and I think it's probably a good chance for you to see some people.
Oh, at the very least, just getting out, spending some time with you, just getting away from the city life, which I assume we live in, would just be a delight. Even if we don't meet any fellas or dames, whatever. Let's just go for it.
Absolutely. It's all about pressing flesh and meeting people. That's what I say.
That's right. Not too much emphasis on the pressing flesh, though.
Well, we'll see how the weekend goes.
I mean, fingers crossed, I suppose.
Hank, with Malamar on board for your weekend away, how do you propose you are going to get there?
Hank, being a barbarian, is very much a fan of the wilderness and being out and about, and Goliath, and Mal, being a Goliath, is obviously being quite a big guy. I imagine that we're going to sort of trek there somewhat.
Okay.
We're going to take the more scenic route than a carriage. I think. Mal, are you down with that?
I mean, yeah, but here's the thing. We always say we're going to go hiking together, and then you always just end up riding on my shoulders, and I just feel like I have to carry most of the weight, and I just feel like I'm getting typecast as a Goliath here that I just like. So I'm just saying, I'm not carrying you the whole way.
What is hiking if it's not that then?
Well, you're supposed to use your feet for most of it.
You are?
Yeah, I'll show you. We'll do a quick tutorial on it, but yeah, you could level up your skills on that front.
With the pair of you hiking to Wintercame, you have set out 2 days previous, so it's going to take you a bit of time as you drew nearer to Wintercame and the highway that kind of connects Tesrab to the capital city, Galeshire. You see that it's the long weekend. It's wall to wall, carriage after carriage, as people are heading out of the city to their to their lake houses and their getaway spots in the woods. But that slip road off the highway towards Wintercame, you see that it's very quiet. That there's literally what looks like a party carriage and a rather regal, slightly garish carriage behind it. And the party carriage painted white has kind of pulled over. The rider and the one of the groomsmen are desperately trying to repair a wheel. Just kind of out the window, a blonde high elf woman just kind of just sticks her head out, and you see her. It's just this short, sleek, straight blonde bob, and just these two sharp porcelain white ears just kind of peek through at either side, and she just rolls her eyes as she watches the rider and the groomsman attempt to change the wheel. And then on seeing the both of you kind of trekking through the wilderness towards Wintercame, she just flutters a wave, and it's like, lovely day for whatever it is that you boys are doing.
Oh, just going on a hike. Left foot, right foot, know what I mean?
No.
Well, yeah, looks to me like you might have to take a hike if you don't get that carriage fixed up there.
She stares down at the rider, who kind of looks up with her. Just give me a perception check, Malamar, just to see if you if you can kind of see what's going on.
Yeah, it'd be a 14.
A halfling and a dwarf who are trying to change a wooden wheel on this party carriage, and it's a 14-person party carriage. She hasn't gotten out of it, and as you kind of fix your eyes on her and you watch as she just stares and eyeballs the dwarven rider, he looks up at her with utter fear in his face. Like he's had a trip and a half with this lady, and he is desperately trying to get the wheel repaired. Behind them, another carriage has just kind of attempted to overtake and passes, and just kind of staring out the window, looking kind of lost in thought. You see a dwarven woman with the caravan kind of moving on. You just hear kind of a coming from the carriage as the woman rolls up the window and just kind of sits in an absolute pout.
Oh, I think I would go and approach the doors, trying to replace the tire, and say, looks like you could use a hand there. Anything I could do as a passerby, just popping in to offer a helping hand.
What does Malamar look like?
Yeah, so Malamar is he's kind of a beefcake. He is a hulking Goliath, pretty muscular. He's wearing a kind of fur-lined leather vest, some kind of cowhide leather pants that he thinks is like a very sporting look. It looks a little cartoony, and some hefty boots. He's got those Goliath tattoos all over the place. I think he looks a little more intimidating than he is once he opens his mouth. Yeah. And
then next to Malamar, Hank, you've kind of weird. What do the dwarves see?
So Hank is a halfling. Yeah, that's right. Your stereotypical halfling barbarian. He's obviously, everyone's always sort of thought of Hank as being a bit of a joke because of his small stature. So he's tried to emphasize how tough he is. So he's shaven head, Sort of, no, maybe not a long beard, but an unkempt beard. He's got a few scars, some of which were self-inflicted, just to make it look like he was tougher than he was. And even those that were actually from battle, he tries to emphasize with extra makeup or anything that makes it stand out and makes him look more tough.
Got that
he walks around, pretty topless most of the time, again to show how hard he is. But he's not got a particularly good figure. He's got that sort of old man, that pensioner who's been working all their life, that sort of, just toned sort of strength or physique.
They just look at you, they look at the wheel, they look at the carriage. Is there any chance you'd just maybe hold this? And the dwarf who's had the kind of the carriage on his shoulder for the last few minutes is just kind of like purple in the face from stress.
Yeah, so I'll kind of reach both my hands under the carriage and maybe lift it almost a little bit too high at first, where it's almost kind of like starting to get like maybe jostling the people inside a little bit before I kind of realize I'm over pushing, but kind of lift it off of him and hold it steady for them to put the tire on.
That even throws Hank off because he goes to help as well, and obviously it sort of goes maybe a little bit too high for him to really sort of reach to.
He's like got like the tip of his fingers just like touching the bottom of it.
He's on his tippy toes.
I'm helping. I'm part.
He's like, yes. They're like, yeah, we're both helping, both equal effort here.
Just inside, you just hear like, oh my god, could you like just like be like less rough? The door to the carriage opens, and inside you see 3 people kind of sitting there. There's stuff kind of scattered. There's a few kind of coats, a bag on the floor, and on the ground there is just this half-elf woman with sleeked back black hair, just kind of in a small little ponytail on just over her shoulder, and she's kind of hastily shoving bits and pieces that fell out of her bag, and she's looking a little bit flustered and a little bit embarrassed. Next to her is a sort of scraggly, red-haired human who's doing his best to kind of help, but he's not really sure what's hers and what was in the carriage. And again, he's fit, but like he's still kind of pasty and pale. And draped across the seat in this long white, soft dress. She's kind of, as much as the dress is draped over her, she's draped over the seat, and she's just leaning on the edge of her left hand and her wrist. And just kind of twirling a little bit of her blonde hair. There is an elven woman. Well, it looks like we've got 2 saviors to thank. How about a lift?
Oh, well, yeah, no, and I think Mal's gonna blush a little bit, and he goes, if you think that carriage could fit an old oaf like me, happy to take a lift.
Well, if it can fit Phoebe, if it can fit anybody.
Phoebe was that's Phoebe's the half-elf?
Half-elf girl with the black ponytail.
Gotcha. With that, he'll just kind of, now Mal won't wait for any further invitation, just kind of like shoulder his way into it. And I think he would look kind of like maybe comically large, just kind of like huddled down, maybe like scoot his seat in between Phoebe and the red-haired human, not really realizing that they're a couple yet. Just thinking that would be the best spot for him to sit.
As Mal kind of wedges himself in through the door and onto a seat between the red-haired human and the black-haired half-elf, Hank, the blonde-haired elven woman, just kind of sits up, and then she just pats the seat next to her.
Thank you very much, my lady. And he just jumps into the carriage, and he goes and sits directly opposite Mal, just so that he can sort of keep an eye on him and whatever things are going to go on across the side of the carriage. He's at the moment he's still concerned about looking out for Mel, and he just sits there and says, "Is this okay right here?"
She looks at kind of the empty spot kind of next to her. She's like, "Of course, you sit your tiny little nubbins wherever you see fit. Are you going to Wintercame as well? Are you heading down to the festival?"
That's right. We won some tickets to the festival. Yeah.
Oh, charming. You won tickets. Phoebe here. Well, her father owns a house just in the town. It's just a small investment. We're heading down together. My husband Maximilian, he'll be joining us later. He had some work to do in the city and told us to head off without him.
My my name's Hank. Well, what's your name?
Sorry, is that short for something?
Short. Why are you saying short?
Well, it's just 4 letters.
Yes. It's Hank. It's just Hank. I mean, I can give you my full name, which is Hank Headsplitter.
Delightful. And she just holds out a hand to Tiffany. Tiffany Stormfinger.
Tiffany Stormfinger. There we go. That's out there.
With her stuff kind of packed up, the half-elf sits herself beside Hank and accidentally brushes herself off of him. And you just see that part of her dress, this like chiffon dress, is clinging to Hank from the sweat from his hike. And she's just like, oh my God. Tiff, he's wet. Tiff, he's so wet.
I'm very sorry. I did a lot of walking. I am only a little one, and I'm not used to doing that much walking. It's not really my fault. It's Mal's fault.
It's my fault. I forget that for each step I have to take as a Goliath, he has to take 4 for a halfling. So I didn't do the math on this hike.
He normally carries me, but he got a bit precious about it this time. I'm not sure why.
A
lover's quarrel, perhaps?
More of like a best friends sort of, I guess, quarrel. Yeah, there's not a more clever way to say that, so I will just say Hank and I, we've been best friends for what, 20 years now. We've just kind of always had each other's backs. You know, he looks out for me, I look out for him, but you know, we're just. So when he said, you know, we got this, I got these free tickets to this little Wintercame town, I was like, heck, let's just head on over there. Let's see what it's about. I got nothing else going on.
Allow me to introduce the both of you. That was a delightful story. You're joined by Mr. and Mrs. Mantle. This is Brad and his delightful wife, Phoebe. Malamar, Brad holds his hand out to you and he's trying to make his palm bigger somehow. He's trying to inflate himself a little bit. Brad Mantle of the Gardner Realty conglomerate.
Oh my God.
Pleasure to meet you. And I think Hank will, or not Hank, sorry, I'm Mal. Mal will, with index finger and thumb, shake his hand.
That's quite a grip you got there, mate. Do you lift?
Oh, I lift all sorts of things. I just lifted your carriage just not 5 minutes ago.
He normally lifts me as well.
Yeah, it's hard to find something I can't lift if I really, put my mind to it.
Brian, is there just any chance you could just get the drivers to just go? I need to change out of the dress. I think it's ruined.
I am very sorry, but I'm very clean. I bathed last week, so that's quite new for me. So I am quite clean at the moment.
Okay, Phoebe, you've prepared for this. And she reaches down into her purse and she just starts spraying a small little bottle of perfume kind of in front of her, and then she just wafts it around herself. Mal, was it any chance you could just give a knock, let the driver know? Appreciate it, bud.
Oh yeah, and I knock on the window.
With that, the carriage just it moves, and Phoebe is kind of tousled in her seat, and she falls. And Hank, she's kind of thrown herself, she kind of falls on you. She glanced off of you briefly, and her dress stuck to you. Now she's full on buried, her face is pressed against your chest. Tiffany smothers a laugh and just kind of watches on. The driver kind of knocks on the roof. There's just a carriage up in front of us. If you'd like to hop out, I think I think there's a local person there to meet with you all for the festival. The carriage has moved, by the way, all of 30 feet. That's as much of a lift they've offered you, Hank and Mal. Tiffany just kind of gets up, brushes her dress. Well, I think a brief sojourn on foot, a hike. Is that what you called it, Mal?
Oh yeah, yeah. I love a good hike. If we want to just
a spiffingly rural idea. Let's hike, everybody. Let's just hike into town. And she hops out of the carriage. And as she does, she draws a sun hat from behind the back of the seat, plops it on her head, and she slips out the door. And then with kind of a sharp whistle, Phoebe gets up and moves towards the door, with Brad kind of taking the rear. Mal just sort of maneuvering your frame through the carriage. You get out, and immediately the carriage just kind of bounces a little bit. Just standing outside this other ornate, regal-looking carriage, you spy a dwarven woman and an Arakorkran woman. They appear to be holding hands. Maisie, can you tell us what you look like?
Yeah, so Maisie is, she's long white wings and a few sporadic large feathers coming out of the back of her head that it looks like, they don't look like they're part of her own plumage. It looks like she's placed them there herself. And she has several bangles along both of her arms and along her legs, and is wearing this multicolored, very bohemian style of robe wrapped around her, and this necklace that seems to have all sorts of different dangling charms and medallions on it as well.
And Barbara?
A lot more simple compared to what Maisie looks like there. So she's an older dwarf, so long white hair and braids, and just dressed a lot more sensibly, just linen and leather, and nothing quite so ornate.
Is that a Fleetwood Mac album, Linen and Leather? With the two of you standing there across from you, there is a rather puffy, red-faced, white-haired halfling gentleman in sort of deep purple robes with a kind of a gold chain draped across his shoulders. Well, y'all just wait like a few more minutes there now. We've got more visitors. Oh, howdy, y'all! And he's waving up at Hank and Mal, Tiffany, Phoebe. He's just gesturing with kind of a one-handed wave, and he's just giving it a little bit more gusto. It is my absolute honor to just welcome all of you to the spring fair here at Wintercame. Well, aren't we plumb lucky to have such fine city folks such as yourselves coming all the way down from Tesrab to spend your hard-earned monies here with us? Aren't you folks just precious?
I nudge Mel and I say, money. Have you got any money?
Well, I just figured it was like an all expenses paid thing here, where we weren't just gonna I got like a couple silver, but like nothing.
It's gonna be rough. This is gonna be a tough weekend, I think.
You know what? I'm sure it's a friendly bunch of folk. They'll understand. Maybe we can open up some sort of tab or something. Travel back down here later with some gold or something and pay out later.
I'll have a chat to that Phoebe. I think we got on quite well in the cart. I'll see if
that's true. She seemed pretty well to do there.
Yeah, I'll see if I can get some money off her if she can do me a float or something.
Just out of nowhere, just a cold shiver runs down Phoebe's back. She doesn't know why, but she's just shaking. The halfling man there with the kind of the white, kind of wispy hair that's barely clinging to his scalp, just kind of, he looks you all up and down, and he's just smiling with this big grin, and he's just, the cannon, shoot the cannon, and nothing is happening, and it's just. Jacob Schmeichel, I swear to all the gods, old, new, dead, and soon to be dead, shoot the goddamn flower cannon. And there's just a boom and a pop as a torrent of flower petals just explodes about 10 feet away from you. And it's actually blasted Maisie, your driver, and the horse, and the carriage is just completely painted in a flurry of flower petals. Well, that went exactly as we had planned as part of the festival. Wow. Wasn't that just something special?
Maisie's clapping her hands. She thinks this is all very cute and quite enjoyable.
Barbara's just rubbing her temples. This is not what she signed up for.
Mal will nudge Hank and be like, do you know what this festival's about here?
I haven't a clue. The invite was very light on detail. It's a festival, and that's about all I know.
Gotcha.
Allow me to introduce myself. I am your Master of Ceremonies, Lisdoon Verna, and I am here to welcome you to Wintercame and to hopefully, and he starts kind of finger gunning all of you, match up some of you would-be singles with that potential love of your life. And he's still just wagging his fingers at all of you.
How close is Hank to what was his name? Sorry, Lisdoon.
There's about 10 feet.
As he's doing the pointing thing, I'm just going to go over and I'm going to try and shake his finger like in a sort of like a, how do you do sort of.
Oh, welcome, sir.
The name's Hank Headsplitter, and this is my friend Mal. We're here for the festival.
Oh, two distinguished bachelors, and he's delighted. Half standing off the road next to a bush is a pasty-looking teen with scraggly, greasy brown hair and a wisp of a mustache and a bit of chin bum fluff. He's still wagging his finger as you're still holding it. Like
I'm going with him the whole way. I'm just not letting go of his finger. I'm not used
to physical contact.
Physical contact or a bit of high society and decorum. I just think this is how people greet each other.
As far as I'm aware, y'all are staying up in the Fortnite Inn with Miss Periwinkle, right?
I believe so. Yeah, that's what the letter said.
Oh my stars and heavens and graces! You're the contest winners.
That's right. My name is Hank Headsplitter, as I said.
And this is your, and he points at Phoebe, and this is your would-be betrothed. Wink, wink.
Hopefully.
Phoebe is going to roll for Constitution. Phoebe has actually barfed a little in her mouth, and she swallows it because she's noble born, but she is now squeezing Brad's forearm to the point that his fingers are kind of throbbing. And no, we didn't win any contest. My mother and father own a house. We're Brad, and she's kind of dragging him, and Tiffany is kind of waves you all off. Well, we'll see you in the fortnight for a drink, I suppose, boys and ladies. She just kind of lowers the glasses that she had kind of perched on her face, just an inch, just kind of over her nose, and flaps up the sun hat and just kind of glares at you, Barbara and Maisie. If y'all must be very tired from the road, so why don't I have Jacob? And you just hear, my name's Chase. I'll have young Mr. Schmeichel here just bring you straight to the Fortnite Inn. You get yourselves checked in, registered, and don't we have a night full of fun and games? We've got a mixer. You folks look like you love a good mixer. While you're still holding his hand, he's now trying to elbow you, Hank, as well. Hank
is not accustomed to some of these things, and he tries with his other elbow, like the complete wrong elbow, to try and touch his, thinking it's some sort of weird cross greeting.
I think we're in a dance, Mr. Head Splitter. And he's kind of half dancing and half leading you towards the town.
How wonderful! My first ever dance.
You haven't even gotten into the city, and you're already making friends over here.
Have any of you fine folks? Oh, I beg. Where? Well, my mother would be turning her grave. Well, if she was dead, but bless her and say she's still alive. She's still kicking. And he kind of makes the sign of the three crosses to himself. I didn't believe I got the rest of all y'all names.
We won the contest as well. I'm Barbara, and this is Maisie.
So, no, we've got the contest winners.
Fancy received a letter too.
I've got it here with me. I've brought a copy. It says right there that we won.
Well, you know what? We'll get this sorted right out. Why don't the four of you just follow me straight down through the town, and we'll just get you all registered and signed up and spending that money, huh? Why don't we just do that?
Yeah.
Mal,
Oh yeah, spending all that money, all that gold we brought with us, all the finances that we planned ahead of time to spend in your fine town. We can't wait to do it. And I'm just gonna like really nudge hard against Hank.
Keep saying about money. They keep saying about money. I'm worried.
Seeing that Babs is kind of stressing out, I'm like, Babsy, it will be fine. We're going to have a great time this weekend. Don't
Place is
worry.
already weird.
Yes, it may be weird, but look, we're getting out of our comfort zone here. Just keep in mind, dear.
I like my comfort zone, Maisie. I like our little apartment. I like our little house.
Honey, I know, but just for one weekend. Come on, this is fate that you received this letter. Finally getting out a little bit.
Fine, but can we at least avoid those two? And I like nod my head over at Hank and Mal.
Oh, don't be so mean, love.
The short one's weird.
We've only just
look at him.
Here.
He's still shaking his finger. What's that about?
I don't know. Maybe it's some sort of cute little local custom.
Mal would see you like nod your head over towards us, and then he's gonna like lock in on that, and he's gonna like do a really aggressive bow.
Babs just kind of jumps away.
It's probably just a local greeting.
He's clearly attacking. The four of you are led down this dirt road with that gangly, gawky, angsty-looking teenager kind of following a few feet behind you. You're led through the town. The dirt road it moves into kind of a square. Wintercame is actually a town. Is probably an exaggeration. It is slightly bigger than a village. You find yourselves kind of standing at a tall fir tree. Listoon, the master of ceremonies, points to the road just kind of to the west. There's a kind of a square in the center with flower beds. Sitting in the middle of that, there is just a water feature of a couple of non-distinct gender embracing each other, with water occasionally spurting out of their necks. It looks like both have been impaled by arrows.
That is some deeply upsetting masonry you got there in that statue. That is just the craftsmanship and the trauma that it induces on your town's newcomers is just amazing.
Oh yes, we often get loads of compliments about the statue. We call it Love's Gush.
Disgusting. I love it.
So that's the square, and just up there, well, you'll get to see that tomorrow. That's part of that's days 2's activities. But we have to make sure you all get registered for that first. So if you'll just kindly follow me and get your checks ready, we are going to go to the Fortnight Inn, and he's just kind of shuffling the four of you down towards it, and they're. At the end of this dirt road, on the southern end of the fountain, you just see this 2-story tavern. The building looks really weird. On one side of it, there looks like what might be like an animal pen, almost like where you might have kept cattle or pigs or something. But it's now just filled in with flowers. Like it's just a load of flowers, wildflowers and birdhouses, and you even hear like a wind chime going off somewhere. The front of it is kind of, it looks a little bit like it might possibly have been, some sort of official building, like a mayor's office or something at one point. But just outside the front, just kind of swinging there in a light kind of balmy breeze, kind of creaking and groaning, you just see a sign that just says Fortnight Inn. And there's just a smiley face underneath it with a rainbow kind of painted over the top of the smiling face. And still kind of half embracing Hank, Listoon just shuffles the four of you into the door. No sooner does the door open, you just hear a clanging of bells. It's porcelain and it's metal and it's all rattling and it's just this cacophony of sound and echoes throughout the tavern floor. There isn't a single soul sitting at a table, perched at the bar. You don't see a server. You don't see a barkeeper. There's nobody. On kind of seeing the place so sparse, Listoon just kind of brushes past. He goes, well, do you know what my mama always said? And she still says, because she's not dead. And she says, well, the early bird gets the worms.
Yeah, but it seems like we might be too early for the worms to even be ready here. I mean, what's What's going on here?
Oh, it's just well, some people have this notion in their head that you don't show up to an organized event with an itinerary and a timetable and a schedule, until later. You skip all that stuff right at the start, and you just show up. You folk are you're just old fashioned tradition. I like the cut of your jib.
Well, that sounds incredibly incorrect, but you know what? I haven't really been to many of these festivals here, so I'll just go along for the ride. I would like to roll an insight check to get an idea of like if I can tell if he's being shifty about something or if he's just disorganized.
Yeah, fire ahead.
So that would be a 17.
From the pool of sweat that is collecting on his furrowed brow, you definitely get the impression that there is something that he's definitely bluffing. And just when he feels like the jig is up, because he sees the four of you just kind of staring at him, you just hear a very excited, loud "hello" echoing from one end of the bar. Out steps this woman. Well, it's quite funny actually, because she's dressed almost identically to Dame Maisie Peckham. The full bohemian wrap. She's wearing a headdress that's kind of tidying up this wonderful plush, thick, brown and black hair with just kind of a wave of grey silver kind of washed through it. And she is bejangled on her wrists. She's wearing a clacking necklace. There's even like an ankle bracelet that's making a truck ton of noise. And she just slinks her way from the back of the tavern. "You are most welcome to the Fortnight Inn. I'm Miss Gladys Periwinkle." "Note the miss." And she gives you an eye, Hank. She's like, "You naughty little boy." And she wags the finger at you.
She's wagging a finger, is she?
Yes, she is.
Right.
It's now a local tradition here in Wintercame, finger wagging.
Yep. I first of all, I lean into Liz Doon and say, "Sorry about this, but I'm going to have to switch fingers." And he finally unclasps Liz Doon and swoops over to Gladys, Miss Periwinkle, and grasps her finger, and it starts again. Hank Headsplitter, nice to meet you. Charmed.
"Oh, Mr. Headsplitter, you brute!" And she's excitedly wagging her hand with you. "I assume you're the contest winners we've heard so much about?"
I'm one of them, yes.
"Oh, I'm delighted. And look at you, just an absolute sweaty little bundle of treasure. And you're just sopping all over my floor. You damp little nugget."
I am clean, though. I was telling someone earlier that I bathed at least 3 weeks ago. That's right.
"Oh, I can tell. There's quite the aroma just wafting off of you."
May I introduce to you my best friend, Mal? Mal, where are you?
Mal, I think in the background, got a little bit distracted by just kind of like investigating the room, and his head is currently somewhat tangled in some sort of like candle chandelier or like candelabra.
Taking the space in around you, Mal, just when you kind of get a fix on what the place looks like, you turn your head, and just nestled over the bar is this rather large, bulbous head of, well, it looks like a hare, but the head is too big. And there are 2 antlers sticking out of the side of its head. And its teeth don't look like they look like they belong in the jaws of a wolf.
Wait, sorry, is this a living thing behind the bar, or is this like a mounted?
It's a mounted head just hanging over the.
I was like, should I be rolling for initiative right now? Mal rolls for initiative and just smacks the head off of the wall. No, I'm kidding. No, I think as he kind of like, you're gonna see a bit of like a tonal shift in Mal as he's sort of like taking in the room. And I think as he's trying to like get untangled from this chandelier, maybe accidentally rips it down and kind of goes, "Oh, I'll fix that. I'll pop that right back up there later. Sorry. Yeah, no, my name is Mal, and happy to be here. I'm sorry. Is this where we're supposed to be? I'm starting to feel a bit concerned that this is not the right town or tavern or what have you.
Oh, not at all. Oh, Hank, you never told me your friend Mal was such a little trickster. Look at him there. And she now kind of drapes herself over kind of like a high-backed chair. Oh, didn't the two of you know this was the singles weekend? And here's the two of you bringing some absolutely gorgeous beauties with you. And she's now kind of rolling her shoulder a little bit, and she's kind of with the broken candelabra, she's just kind of kicking it under the table a small bit as well. Just like, not at all. Ladies, come in. Listen, I'll take care of the guests. We'll see you later for the mixer. I've it all prepared. I'll have 50 chairs put out in no time. And I'm sure Mal won't have a problem at all giving me a hand. Will you, Mal?
Oh, gosh. And he's going to blush a little bit and say, yeah, anything you need.
That's if your lady friend, and she gestures over at Barbara, if she doesn't mind a bit of competition.
We're not. No, I don't know who this guy is. Also, I'm a little worried because that guy didn't seem to know why we were here, and we won the contest. So, like, do you have a room for us, or? Of course, we've got a room. We put the finest room away for that Roz woman, whatever. Give me the tickets. What have you got? What have you got? I hand over my letter.
I'm gonna nudge Hank to do the same.
I pull it out from sort of. I root around sort of behind myself into my trousers, sort of like, a bit longer than I probably should take, and eventually I pull it out, and it looks not too dissimilar to Phoebe's dress.
The ink is like blood.
As this is happening, I'm just like shoving myself closer to Maisie and farther from them, and just like squeezing her arm a little bit tighter.
I take one of my wings and I kind of wrap it around Babs as I'm holding her hand.
There seems to be a bit of a bother with the letters. Did any of you happen to check the dates? I'm afraid they've expired.
But we just got it.
Yes, but if you look at it here, this is dated 20 years ago, my love.
But it only came in the mail a few days ago.
That's why this place looks so busted. No one's supposed to be here right now. I'm starting to understand what's happening here. What a funny goof we've walked ourselves into.
Busted.
I'm sorry. It just seems like this place really hasn't been kept up as much. Again, happy to lend a hand, but
there's something to be said for manners. Oh, Hank, why is your friend such a brute?
Now, we take offense to that term as Goliaths.
He listen, Mal, let me. He's not really the brains of the outfit. I love him very dearly, but we tend to let me do. He does the walking, I do the talking. That's sort of a phrase that we've got. So you don't worry about him. He sometimes says the wrong things. It's a lovely establishment you've got here.
Yes, it is, isn't it? To the matter of your rooms, I'm afraid we're fully booked out, and all we've left is the family room.
Sorry, ma'am, not to be rude, considering we just went through that. Booked out by who? There's nobody.
Other guests.
There's nobody here.
Patrons of this wonderful, and she clocks eyes on Mal, establishment that many people frequent lots of times.
The way that you're describing this place is a little off, but I'll believe you.
I can put the four of you lovely creatures up in the family room. Oh, you'll love it. It looks out across the slaughter. I mean, the garden, the floral garden out just to the west of the building. And you get the wonderful, wonderful aroma of wildflowers wafting on the balmy breeze here in Wintercame.
Sorry, all four of us together?
Well, you're a modern woman, aren't you? You're here for a singles weekend, aren't you? She's blissfully unaware of the fact that Maisie has thrown herself over you and is hugging you very, very tightly for her life.
I don't know them.
If I may, are there any other inns in the town? I just feel like for a singles weekend, it's kind of hard to, be a single when you're forced into a room that is a quadruple.
Well, think of it as this is where the mixing starts, Mal. And I still didn't get your ladies' names. And she's kind of drawing this really hefty ledger out from the bar, and she just drops it with a thud, and a film of dust just billows off the top of it. Now,
Very sorry. I'm Dame Mavis Peckham, and this is my very good friend, Barbara Edgestone.
I'll have the local teen put up a partition if you really feel it's necessary in the room.
I do.
What is the bed situation in the room? Is it 4 beds or
A lovely double and 2 singles for the children.
You know, I can curl up real small on a single and I'll be just fine. You know, if I sleep in a ball, I can fit in anywhere. You know, yeah.
Yeah, Babsy, we'll take the double bed.
Oh, I bet you will.
We're just friends. No. It's fine.
Sharing beds. Do it all the time.
Babsy and we're housemates. We've lived together for over 20 years now in a little apartment above my tea shop in Tesrab.
And don't forget the speed dating. So what I'm getting from all of this, and she's now flitted around the bar, she's getting a key, is no partition?
Oh, we're still ladies who've just met these gentlemen, so a partition would be appreciated just for a little bit of privacy.
Rude. And she of course. And she, there's only the one key, and she kind of looks at her. Well, Hank, you look like the most responsible, and she just hands it to
I mean, I will say, you know, maybe Hank's not the best key keeper here. He did just pull out a contract or an award from his pants. So I might yoink that from you and put that in one of my pockets. I'm going to put it in my little vest breast pocket.
Make your way up the stairs, down the back of the hallway. You can't miss the door. And be down in 45 minutes for speed dating. It is the first activity on our weekend of activities that we have planned for you, culminating in the spring fling cotillion. Now, and we have a local band playing. You might have heard of them. Are any of you familiar with Forever Rock?
I've heard of them around Tesrap, but I don't know if they're my taste in music at all.
They're a bit much.
Well, so much for broadening her horizons, Babs. We don't exactly have Forever Rock. We've got the next best thing, a local band that cover them, Eternal Boulder.
Got a lot of Stone-themed bands over here, huh?
Young people, it's all that rock and roll music.
Babsy, let's head up and get prepared. Is there any chance I could get some hot water, please? I would love to make some of my tomato mint tea before I come back down again.
I'm sorry. Only food and beverages purchased on the property may be consumed on the property.
Oh, this is. I'm afraid this is medicinal more than anything else. It helps my
We also don't
my
have
shakes.
drugs on the property.
It's an all natural medicinal purpose.
Oh yeah, we've had your sorts here before. I'll have something set up. She buggers off back into the kitchen to start heating up some water for you, Maisie. And the 4 of you are kind of left to your own devices to find the room. And it is exactly as Gladys had said, up the stairs, down the end of the corridor, and you can't miss the door because literally carved into it, and not very well, are the words family room, spelled FAMILEERUM. The room is actually pretty spacious. There is a double bed right in a recess in the wall that looks out onto a gable window that opens up onto a small little balcony.
I sit down on the edge of the double bed and I start rooting through my pockets to get my tea leaves for my tea ready.
Mal pulls Hank aside and says, you know, you've really been making quite an impression rubbing off on a few number of ladies this afternoon. Maybe this is going to be your weekend.
As I said to you, press the flesh.
I mean, and I think it's good to press the flesh, but try not to soak the flesh, if you know what I mean.
Every time they say press the flesh, Barbara just like creeps away a little bit farther.
Maisie kind of, as she's preparing her tea leaves and stuff, she just looks around at everyone. She knows Babs will have some tea, but she looks at the 2 boys and like, would you like to try some of my mix.
Is this? I try to stay kind of lucid. Is this sort of a goofy water, or is this just a regular old brew?
It's a regular old brew. She was just being really pedantic about getting me the water, so I tried to say anything I could to make sure I could have a little tipple before we headed downstairs. This is my famous tomato mint tea. It sells so well. I sell about 2 portions a month. It just flies out the door.
If there's 2 flavors that go well together, it's tomato and mint. I would love some.
Oh, brilliant. So we just have to wait for the water now.
There's a rapping at the door. It opens kind of abruptly, and you just, well, it looks like the four. Oh, you're all. I thought some of you would be nude. And she just, she puts the kettle on top of a small side table. Well, as you were, and she just remember speed dating in a little bit.
Thank you so much. In my satchel where I had the tea leaves, I pull out 4 like itty bitty cups. Put a sprinkle of each of the tea leaves into each and some water and just leave them sitting to the side. And then I start sipping at mine. Very delighted with myself.
Thank you very much. And Hank takes a little sniff of it and sort of looks at Mal a bit, sort of like questioning, and then takes a big, and then sort of raises a impressed eyebrow, and then he's going to get one of his fingers with the remnants that's left. He's going to rub his fingers around what's left in the cup, and he's just going to dab a little bit behind his ears, and a little bit under his armpits, just for a good measure.
Maisie starts smiling, seeing how much he's enjoyed it, and is like, "You can see why we sell 2 portions a month. It's such a brilliant bestseller in my tea shop."
Absolutely, it's delightful, and it's gonna hopefully help me this evening.
Mal is going to throw it back like a shot, and then out of instinct, throw the teacup against the wall. Old hats die hard. You know what I mean? I'll replace that. I'm so sorry, ladies. Was that an heirloom? Please tell me that had no emotional importance to you.
I've got like one hand on Maisie's thigh, and the other hand is really slowly reaching for like my great axe, which is sitting near us. I'm just like, do you want me to? Because I will. I can. No, I don't mind.
Babsy.
I will.
No. It's fine. It's just another triad for the collection. It's like my great granduncle's tea set. The same thing that happened. Do you remember? So it's okay. Now we have 2 triad tea sets. It's perfectly
Hank
fine.
and Mal, give me Constitution saving throws with disadvantage.
I'm gonna, as I'm rolling this, Hank is gonna sort of tap sort of Mal on the shoulder and said, "We're supposed to not be spending money, and right now you seem to be breaking a lot of things. I'm a little bit concerned."
Don't worry. I have a plan. Well, not really, but I'm gonna. I will keep a tally, and I will. You won't have to spend a dime on behalf of me. I promise.
A wonderful 9.
10.
Okay, Hank and Mal, it hits you both pretty quickly. The difference is, Mal, as soon as the tomato mint hits your guts, you just, it's weird. It definitely tasted like passata, and it definitely tasted like mint, but there was definitely kind of a woody, mushroomy, textury aftertaste. And you just feel you feel a little bit looser. You just feel, you can actually feel your fingernails, that kind of, you're very in tune with yourself. Hank, on the other hand, you are fucking tripping balls. You are seeing colors that are beyond the spectrum of, you're seeing kind of colors in different times. You feel 3 times taller than Mal. As you take a +5 temp HP.
So right now I sort of think and I feel like I'm bigger than Mal, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Can I then, the ladies of the room will then see this halfling head over to Mal, and he just goes, "Time for a hike," and he sort of like tries to lift Mal up. Thinking that he's much, much bigger than he actually is, and sort of like leans over to try and get him to do like a piggyback sort of thing.
Mal will start to sort of like humor him, and like as he tries to like lift up Mal's foot, he sort of like lifts it up a little bit, but he's kind of like not sure. I don't think he really knows how to respond to that. Like he's kind of like, "Oh, I think you might have had a little bit too much mint in your tea there. Are you okay, friend?
I've never been better. This is some good tea. Can I have some more?
I would cut him off.
You're only supposed to have 1 dose of this every 4 weeks.
Has it been 4 weeks yet?
For someone who can see time right now, you're not really good at that perception.
It's not a
There is a ringing of a bell downstairs, and to all of you, it just sounds like a small dinner bell. Hank, it sounds like choirs of angels are beckoning you downstairs. I mean, you're pretty sure the bell is just going, Hank, Hank, Hank. And you really feel like you're being summoned. And amidst all of this, you just hear, speed dating mixer, very, very excitedly echoing down the hallway at you.
If you guys want to head down there, I just need 1 minute, and I will meet you down there. I just need a moment alone, if you don't mind. Just a brief window of privacy here.
I give a slight nod to him. I take Babsy's hand and I go to bring her downstairs.
Yeah, I just finish my tea and follow along.
Do you want me to stay with you?
No, you head on down. I'll if you gals could look after him until I make it downstairs, that would be amazing, because I don't think he's really in any shape to be socializing right now.
No, I think my tea just kicked him in the keister a little too hard.
Seems like it. He tried to lift me, and then I saw him see his own death in the reflection of his eyes for a second. I'm worried he's on a different journey than the rest of us. So just keep a close eye on him.
Don't worry, it shouldn't last too long. Only about 7 days. He'll be fine.
When you say that I saw my own death in the mirror, sort of a little tear rolls down my cheek, and you just hear me whisper, going, "It was beautiful."
The three of you are heading down. Well, the two ladies, and you're escorting Hank.
Yes.
I try not to touch him, but I try to corral him in the correct direction.
Okay, so you're with kind of the edge of your great axe, you're just kind of shoving him,
poking, prodding him. Yeah.
I am going to pull out all of the little pieces and shards of that tea cup, and I'm going to spend a minute casting mending on it to try to fix it.
It comes back almost perfectly. There is just a seam that hasn't quite, it fits together, but it's that kind of thing. You'll still see the crack in it.
I'm going to put the teacup back in my pocket.
Okay, and you're heading out?
Yep.
Mal, as you're making your way downstairs, there's a bit of a raucous noise. You hear people talking. There's people muttering away to themselves. Malamar, just who we were just waiting on you. We're short some men folk, and you just see sitting on the chair closest to you is Brad, who's set across from Barbara. Next to him is Hank, who is currently kind of chewing on the skin between his two, his middle finger and his index finger. Opposite him is Phoebe, who thought she'd be sitting opposite her husband. Next to her is Maisie, and next to her is Tiffany.
I will sit across from Maisie.
Okay. I'd like to welcome you all to the start of what promises to be, and many, many journalists are saying, a successful festival here at Wintercame. And you all are you are the only ones that are here. But that doesn't matter. You're going to enjoy yourselves. This is going to be something that you will always, always remember. I guarantee. And he kind of he waves the staff over his head, and he's kind of gesturing with both his hands. And there's a fluttering of wings. It sounds like little fat pigeons for a moment. And through the door comes two single file lines of what look like fat little babies in nappies with these chunky, chubby, gray and white feathery wings, and just a mop of curly hair, what look like little cherubs, all holding tiny little bows, with little heart arrows on them. And there's just a gaggle of little cute little baby noises and a fluttering of wings as they filter in around all of you. The first round of speed dating begins. You have 60 seconds to get to know the love of your life, everybody. And he stamps the staff on the ground, and there's just a sparkle of light just twinkles from it, and a bell rings with a kind of ooh coming from the bar. Barbara and Brad, we'll move our way down the chairs.
Hi, I'm Barbara.
Brad, and he slinks down into the chair, leaning into himself a little bit, and he's just kind of like, so you got any property?
I live in a flat above a tea shop with Maisie there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Dual residence and commercial, fantastic. Whereabouts in the city?
Market district. It's, little off street.
Wow. What would you say that you were? Would you say that you were the owner of said property? Would you be looking to maybe downsize? A woman of your age probably doesn't want to be living upstairs anymore. Hip and all that.
My hips are just fine, sir. Stay in shape. I could take you on anyway.
Oh, and he just he just thumbs the side of his nose. Look, I look, lady, I didn't mean to offend you. I'm here because, and he gestures to the woman sitting next to you. She got dragged along because, and then he gestures down at Tiffany, who's making goo eyes at Mal. Look, I'm sure your hips are perfect, but and he holds up his hand. I'm married.
Yeah, well, I'm not very interested either, so.
Oh, well, that's your loss.
I doubt it.
Well, I doubt that you doubt that.
Nice. Yeah, nice. Good one.
Can I get a drink? Gladys kind of shovels over with just a goblet full of mead, and she kind of shoves it at him. Oh, look at the two of you, and sparks literally flying off the both of you.
Can I also have a drink?
Of course. What would the lady like? And is the gentleman? No. What can I get you? He's clearly a modern man. He thinks you're an independent woman. You've got your own money.
Yeah, I can handle myself. Mead is good.
Wonderful. Mead for a lady. And she just walks off and she goes to get it. We move down to Hank and Phoebe, who has kind of retreated onto her seat as she witnesses you just half. You're not tearing into your hand, but you're just kind of nibbling at the edges of the skin between your fingers, or trying to at the very least. Brad, I think my one's broken.
Hi, Phoebe. It's me. It's me. It's me, Head Hank Splitter.
Oh God, it remembered my name. Oh my God, he's gonna split my head open. Get it right here, Brad. Brad is he's lost in conversation with Barbara. He doesn't give a shit.
I see you've changed. Is that to impress me?
Oh my God. Oh my God. He's noticing intricate details about me. Oh my God, he's making a map of my life.
Are you scared? Is it the jackalope up there? Don't worry. As you can see, I've grown since you last saw me. So I'm willing to take it on.
Oh my God. Are you high?
I mean, I'm quite high. I mean, I'm 3 times the size of Mal now.
Oh. Oh, this changes everything, Frank. So, where did you get it?
Get what?
The stuff that got you high?
I haven't taken anything. All I've done is I've been in, I've had a cup of tea, and then I grew.
Oh, herbal tea.
Tomatoes, some mint, I think.
Yeah, that's what all the kids are calling that new one.
And I sort of nod over to Maisie, and she gave me the cup of tea. Can you, if you want to smell, I've got some. And he points behind his ear to let her sample.
Give me a persuasion check with advantage.
Yeah, a meager 9.
It feels accurate.
That
was just me. That wasn't my character.
she's tempted. She's and then when you said it was Maisie, she just kind of crosses her legs and she just turns her, like she literally shifts her entire body away from you. And she's now trying to tap Maisie on the shoulder, but she's afraid of doing so in case she breaks any of Maisie's frail old bones.
And I think as she does this, she sees Mal first, kind of like, even though he's sitting across from him, he's going to start off, I guess, talking with Maisie and say, I just feel awful about earlier, and I did something. Well, so just hold on real quick. And he pats his chest, and you hear a couple cracks, and he pulls out shards of that same cup, and he goes, "Oh, you know what? Give me another minute. I thought I fixed it, and then now it's just the, and I was gonna."
Young man, it's perfectly fine. It happens all the time. I have many of a triad set at home. Please don't worry about it.
I'm gonna make it right. I can't help it. It's just, I broke an heirloom after taking that lovely shot you gave me, and I'm gonna fix it. So just I'll have it right as rain. Just give me some time.
Okay. But please don't worry about it if it doesn't get fixed either.
Oh, I understood, but I'll make it right.
Oh dear, I wish you weren't so hard on yourself. I mean, I totally understand where you're coming from. I've always featherly towered over many a folk before, and they certainly used to be quite intimidated by me. But then I just, then when I got older and a little bit smaller, they're just, you shrink down as you get older and all that.
That is quite inspiring. Tiffany, conversational transition. How do you feel about growing older?
Oh, for a moment there, I thought I'd literally died of boredom. Oh, I don't plan on growing old. I just plan on being dead someday.
What a lovely sentiment there. But probably unfeasible. What brings you to this weird festival that we found ourselves in?
My husband Max. You may be familiar with Maximilian. He's involved in several businesses with the people in Tezrab, and he just said that we haven't spent a lot of time together lately. And well, when Phoebe and Brad suggested we take a couple's weekend away together, and that her family's home in Wintercame, well, and as she's saying this, one of the cherubs is kind of floating next to her or a little bit near to her, and it's just kind of with a little just kind of a, it's just kind of sniffing her and just lets out kind of a little, like just a low kind of cat-like little whistle or hiss, sorry. And she just kind of swats it away. Oh my God, what in all the gods' names is that? She's just kind of swatting it away. Ugh.
It looks to be like a winged baby of some sort.
Babies. Oh God. Oh, if there's anything I detest more than old people, it's babies.
Interesting. You have a very small window of ages that you prefer, it seems like.
Yes, it's just basically me.
And if I may, can I ask how old you are? Is that a polite question?
I'm 21.
You're 21. I'm gonna roll an insight check, if that's all right.
And I just kind of say, my dear, by the looks of you, it looks like your eggs have long since cracked.
I rolled a natural 20.
Okay, so here's what happens. Maisie, with that barbaric jive, actually manages to shatter the illusion that Tiffany keeps on herself. And it's not a magical spell, it's just, there's just this waft of charisma that, when she says she's 21, most people just, because they're afraid of her, agree with her that she's definitely 21. But as Maisie's words just kind of stab in her ear, Mal, as you fix it on her, you just see like her complexion shift and her forehead, whatever chemical or magic she had infused in there to keep it solid and unmoving, it boils, and there is just a furrow of wrinkles, and you just see at the edges crow's feet, and she looks a little bit older. She looks a little bit haggard, and she is definitely lying about being 21. A few more of these winged little babies have kind of gathered around you, and they seem to be kind of sizing up the situation. And then a bell rings. Listoon kind of approaches. Would all the ladies please move in a circle? There's no point moving down, just move in a circle. Tiffany is now sitting across from Brad. Barbara, you're now sitting across from Hank. Maisie, you and Phoebe are now sitting across from Mal. Those little cherub-like babies that are floating in the air are now kind of cloistering around Tiffany. They're all kind of whispering away to each other. And she's just sitting there and just staring at Brad, who is looking at the ground. And both of you hear just a very soft clearing of her throat. It's almost inaudible. But 3 people pick up on it. The 2 of you and Brad, who looks up at her and his face flushes. And you see Tiffany just nod her head towards the back kitchen and a small little corridor. And over the doorway, you just see the letters WC. And she gets up and she moves towards the corridor. I just have to powder my nose.
And ruffle some feathers.
I'm okay. And she flits away. Hank, sitting opposite you now is Barbara.
Sorry, I don't think we've been introduced. My name is Hank.
So I've seen Maisie give people like samples at the tea shop before. So I'm used to sort of getting people through their first time with her tea. So I just go ahead and grab his hand and give it a look, and I make sure to pull away because I know if I don't, we'll just keep going. Hi there, Hank. I'm Barbara.
I'm good. I like your axe.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Have you ever killed anyone with it?
Oh, that's a big question for 60-second speed dating. Short answer, yeah.
Good.
Brad gets up out of his seat. Oh, nat 20'd. Stealthily slinks off to the bathroom. Maisie, at this stage, there's just your friend, like, he said that you have some, and she leans in very, very closely, like some tomato.
I don't have tomatoes, dear. No.
No, but like the tea, you know?
Oh, you mean my tomato mint? Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I used up the last of it there earlier. I just, because you're only supposed to take it once a month.
Oh my god, what do you think? I am a rube? I know how much I'm supposed to take.
I do have some butterfly wings tea if you'd like some.
Oh my god.
What does that do? I haven't heard of that one.
It makes you feel a little light, and it helps speed up digestion. It's very good if you're on a diet.
Oh, I think wait, where's Brad and Tiffany?
Oh, they went to the water closet, I think. Well, Tiffany did anyway. That young, well, not young. That
Oh, and like Phoebe lets out kind of a little chortle to herself.
They've been in there for a minute though. Should I go check on them?
Oh, that's very sweet of you. Why don't you? Yes. Sure, this young gentleman will go and check for you.
Right, just yeah. All right. Well, here I go, and I'm gonna head on over there and just kind of like try to lightly knock on.
I turn back to Alex. So, would you like to buy some tea?
We came down here to work on things, and he's in there. Oh my god. Get away from me. Just get away. All of you podunk hillbillies. And she just kind of gets up and she knocks her seat back. I'm just going home. I am just going by. And she bolts out the door.
I'm gonna put my ear to the door and see what I hear.
You just hear very, very plainly, no, you said this was the last time. And then you kind of back, you just hear, I told you it ended when I said it was over. Now. Wait a second. And the door opens and Tiffany is standing there. Brad has kind of a couple of buttons on his flannel shirt open. This one's occupied?
Oh, yep, my bad. I'm sorry. I just thought I didn't mean to interrupt your momentary indiscretion here of infidelity with your respective spouses, but your wife just left. I think she seemed a little upset that you were in the pooper here with another lady.
Yes, Brad. What are you doing in the pooper with me? And Brad's like, and he's just kind of bottling up everything. He's like, Tiffany, and he's now kind of he kind of pops a button and he just kind of he brushes past her and she kind of rustles his hair as she does. I think with Brad gone, there might be a little room.
I see. As much as I think you're a beautiful lady, and honestly, I get it with the washboard abs and the bright red hair. That's kind of my type as well. But you seem kind of awful, and so I think I might have to pass.
She's now gripping the enamel of that sink with all the force of 1,000 titans. As she desperately tries to cling to just this reality where people are talking back to her so viciously. She's not used to it, and she slinks out back towards the tavern floor, and standing there with the staff over his head, and the cherubs are kind of, when she appears, when Tiffany kind of reappears, they all kind of turn really sharpishly towards her, which is kind of a stink eye. Every one of them is just fixing on her. Well, this was fun. I'm told tomorrow there's a tour of this quarter of a square mile. What fun. Shall we meet here in the morning for what I assume is breakfast slop? Gladys, just from behind the kitchen, just yells up, "How did you know?" And Listoon just goes, "No, wait, whoa, Maisie, we're not just done quite yet." And he lifts his staff in his other hand up and he raises, and there's kind of just a spitting of sparks all around him as he brings the staff down, and there's just a shower of sparks that just light up and make the form of a heart and a question mark in the middle of it. It looks to me like this has been a right successful evening, and Gladys has sold all of 2 whole drinks. Well, what can I say? People will be talking about this event for ages.
I might like to ask a quick question here about the singles weekend, if that's all right.
Of course. I am the master of ceremony. That is my responsibility.
Wonderful. So I've so far only met married people in this lovely potentially lesbian couple here. I'm just wondering if there are any actual single people beside myself and my very inebriated friend, Hank Headsplitter over there.
Yes, and they will be definitely single people on the tour tomorrow. I stake my fortune on it, young man.
I don't know how close I am to Mel, but I'm just going to nudge and just go, I think Phoebe might be single tomorrow.
Well, I'm not really sure how to unpack that one, so I'm just going to leave that there.
Well, it behooves me, everyone, to say that the first day of the spring fair, it draws to what some people are saying was a extremely successful first day.
Well, I would love to meet those people.
I don't know. I had a wonderful conversation about how many dead bodies Barbara has slaughtered.
I just sort of pat him on the head and I'm like, shh.
As you were informed by the delightful Mrs. Stormfinger, tomorrow's event culminates in a tour of the wonderful Wintercame histories and many of our 3 historical buildings. Then we have, of course, the festival culminating in the very, very wonderful Spring Fling Cotillion. And I'm sure many of you will be able to partake in a dance with a partner of your choosing, because like I've said many times, there will definitely be people here tomorrow, I hope. And with that, good night, y'all.
Good night, Liz Doom.
I take Babsy's hand and give it a little squeeze and give her a little smile and start walking back towards the room.
I follow her, but I look back to just make sure Hank isn't like falling over. He's at least with Mal or something.
I think I have Hank like like carrying like a barrel or like under one
Tucked under your arm. Nice.
That's
on the
amazing.
head. Like, come on, bud. Let's get the hay here.
This is wonderful. Now,
Yeah,
I love you.
I love you too, friend.
With the four of you back in your room and kind of settling in for the night, it gets the room is warm, but there is kind of a draft and it gets a little bit cold. Sleep does come to you. Hank, unfortunately, the last, because who needs sleep when you are a vessel for which all of cosmic energy travels through? And after tiring yourself out from pacing the floor, you're all abruptly woken as the windows to the balcony open, and standing at the edge of the balcony is this phantasmal form of a rather pale, ghostly looking man who points a hand into the room, not at anybody in particular, but he's just gesturing in. Return the ring, for I liked it and put said ring on it, but it was never true love. You have it all. And then he just vanishes.
Babsy, how strong was that dose?
I mean, you're the one that dished it out, love. You tell me.
You usually handle it much better than me.
I mean, you saw that, right?
Well, I gotta say, this did that fellow look familiar to anyone? Did anyone steal a ring here?
I stole a lady's heart last night, I think.
I don't know that you did, friend. But
Thanks, wingman. Absolute confidence boost.
This is really sweet and heartwarming, boys, but I'm a little bit concerned about the ghost thing.
oh yeah, return the ring. An interesting. There's almost a lyrical way that he spoke about that, about putting a ring on it or something like that. Obviously not close enough to use any copyrighted language, but
I remember a ring from last night.
Could I do a little bit of investigating of the window area?
Okay, yeah. Give me an investigation check.
I got a 15 on an investigation.
There isn't footprints, there isn't handprints, there's no obvious sign, Mavis, of like this wasn't like someone climbed up, pretended to be a ghost, and then just disappeared. But as you're kind of scouting out the west over the balcony, just faintly in the distance, like a good way off, you can't be 100% certain, but it looks like there's somebody out there with a torch.
I kind of flap my hand in Babs's direction, like, Babsy, I see something out there.
I come up to her, like just up behind her, and kind of peek around.
There's nothing.
I think maybe that tea was a bit too strong, love. I think maybe we should just try and get some sleep.
But no, dear, it was like someone was walking out in the forest there with a torch.
I mean, there's nobody out there now, and I don't really know if any of us should be going out there at night in the dark in an area we don't know.
Oh, that's very true.
I know. Look, we'll block the window here with some sort of furniture or something heavy, and we'll just try to get through the night.
ghosts and other spooky things are notoriously impervious, or not impervious. What is it? They can't pass through stuff, so that's a perfect plan.
Look, he opened the window to spook us, so...
That's fair. If that sounded like I was being sarcastic, I was not. I was being stupid. So.
You know, Mal, it's hard to tell.
The four of you return to bed, and sleep is slow to come to each of you. But it does. And you wake the morning with just the wonderful bellow below of just breakfast. There's a kind of a rapping on the door a little while later for you to go about your business and come join for breakfast, because breakfast is served between 6 and 7 a.m. And not a minute after.
When we wake up, I find myself sort of with an arm draped over Maisie, And I just sort of sit up and like smile and laugh and then go to the other side of the bed.
Hearing her laugh, I wake up and I rustle my feathers awake.
How long do the effects of this tea last? Are they gone now?
You can give me a Constitution saving throw, Hank, just to see if you're if it's still in your system.
I wouldn't have thought so. That's a big old fat 5.
Whatever that lady has cooked, it smells like the gods themselves stirred the pot because it smells glorious. You are utterly ravenous, but for some reason you're now convinced that you're hearing through your tongue. So you're just occasionally, just when people talk, you're holding your mouth out because that's now how you listen to things.
Oh, mate. Oh. Yep.
Oh.
I'm all those things.
I won't say it again. Breakfast is ready and it's going in the bin in 10 minutes.
Mal, I'm so hungry and that smells divine.
Let's go. Just go. You need some food in you. That tea has really knocked you on your ass. And I'm just gonna again kind of scoop him up, carry him like a barrel. As I think his tongue is leading the way.
As the two of them are walking, I kind of whisper to Babs, Babsy, I think I figured it out. I think I gave him the dose that was meant for the Goliath, and the Goliath the dose that was meant for him.
Oh, Maisie.
It was completely unintentional, love.
Do you have anything to help him out?
He could try some blackroot, but you know that it might give him boils too. Maybe the food might help him. Let's just wait and see.
Right, maybe bring some of that blackroot with you just in case.
Oh, yes. Okay, and I pop some into my bag.
Barbara and Maisie, you come down to see Mal and Hank set at a table and just 4 bowls with just this jelly-like brown gloop. Standing in the doorway, his arms kind of folded, a hood pulled up over his shoulders, ripped pantaloons. Again, he bought them that way. Is Jacob Schmeichel, the local teen. And he nods at you, Barbara and Maisie, when he sees you come down. Could you hurry up and finish? Cause we've got to go on the tour. I've got all day.
Excuse me. We're on holiday, and we will take our time and enjoy ourselves.
You came to Wintercame on. Oh God, how sad are your lives?
We don't even have proper trousers.
This is what everybody's wearing.
Who is everybody? You're the only local teen in this town.
Therefore, it's cool.
I mean, you're the only one here to judge that, so...
I'll be outside. And he just... he turns and he walks to the door and he slams it with all the angst he can muster.
I look at Mal, I swallow and say, sorry, I didn't hear any of that. I was eating. I couldn't hear anything.
Understood.
Good morning again, ladies. Do you want to sit down and share some of this?
Sloop. Gladys pipes up.
Would you like to share some sloop?
Yes. If we're setting out for a tour, we might as well make sure we have some food.
I'll try it.
You all scoop some sloop. And you find the spoon sticks as you try to, and there's just kind of a sound as you try to kind of pull the spoon back free, and there's that weird kind of little vacuum sound. It melts on the tongue and it kind of stays there.
Oh.
It's that, when you have you ever accidentally eaten the skin of an orange? You're just taking a bite and you forgot to peel a part of it, and you get that kind of that. Your entire tongue from the tip to the root is just it's soaked in that kind of waxy taste. It doesn't actually taste bad. It's just texture-wise, it's like licking wax and chalk at the same time.
Hank, in his state, Hank is very much enjoying it.
I reach into my satchel and I say to Babs, "Do you want some breakfast sprinkle, love?"
Oh God, please.
And I reach in and I take out. It's basically like a mix of like a trail mix kind of thing with like cranberries and stuff in it, and I sprinkle some of it on top of her bowl and then on top of mine.
Okay.
I try to mostly just eat the top and not the rest of the stuff. I'll take a little bit of it just for sustenance, but
the door to the Fortnite Inn opens again, and there's just kind of as Jacob stands there, just kind of defiant. Are we going on the tour?
Oh, right. Yeah, let's get on out there. And I'm just gonna pluck the onion from the center of my onion chunk from the center of my gloop, and I'm just gonna gnaw on that as we head out the door.
Nutritious.
Onions are very good for you. Standing there holding up a luminous pink flag is Jacob Schmeichel, this scraggly local teen that you met yesterday. And he's just looking as glum and as pasty and as greasy as he was the day before. So, like, the mayor or the master of ceremonies said that I have to bring you on a tour of Wintercame. Welcome to the town, and he's now reading off the palm of his hand, the town of Wintercame. It should be noted that the tour follows the entire expanse of this marvelous settlement. We are standing outside the most historic landmark in the town. It is the Fortnight Inn. It once served as the mayor's house. You can tell that by the delightful architecture that facades the front of the building. And then he leans in very, very closely to the four of you. And yeah, I didn't tell you this, or I think it's not on the tour stuff, but it also was the abattoir. And he kind of nudges over at the that circular pen you saw yesterday. That's where like countless animals were led to their doom.
Oh my goodness.
Deeply
Barbaric.
upset. Thank you for the historical facts.
You're welcome. My name is Jacob Schmeichel, but you guys can just call me Chase, because that's my actual name, and my parents refused to call me it. So follow me and keep an eye on the pink flag of love that will guide you on the path to true romance. He moves about 10 feet and then points at the statue, Love Gushes, that you saw yesterday, and the floral arrangement around it, and the kind of the murky kind of pond it's set into.
As we go to,
Yep.
I was gonna say, as we go to like walk and follow him, I just loosely link arms with Maisie and just kind of walk with her.
He rolls his eyes. The Love Gushes floral gazebo is the number one place in all of Wintercame to propose. And he looks at the four of you.
When was the last time anyone proposed around here?
Well, not for nothing, but 1 and 2 marriages does end in divorce.
Okay.
You have both not answered his question and also deeply depressed everyone here.
Welcome to life, my friend. Get used to it. The next stop, and he's now moving a little bit further ahead down that dirt road, and you pass kind of a small ring of houses. And just off in the kind of the northwestern corner where yesterday Listoon had pointed up at some stone steps that he said, you know, that this was part of the tour that you'd be visiting. He stops outside a rather rickety looking kind of cottage. Welcome to my mom and my stepdad's house.
Oh.
Because everyone in Wintercame is happy. And he gives like a very low thumbs up.
Chase.
Oh, bless him.
Chase, what would make you happy?
Death.
Hank looks over at Barbara and says, here's one for you.
I don't even know why people came to this stupid town. I mean, the most interesting thing that happened here was a guy died last year at the festival.
Can we hear more about that, please?
Yes.
How's it going, y'all? Kind of out of nowhere, around a corner appears Listoon with a small little pack of those cherub babies that are floating around the place. How's the tour going? How have you guys been up to the pond?
You're not quite yet. Your town youth was just about to tell us about how the man who died here last year.
Yes, we're very interested.
It is not part of the tour, I'm afraid. So why don't you just head on up to the pond, and he can fill you in all that legendary local history.
See, but that's what I'm looking for. I love history and just, I really love getting into the nitty gritty stuff. And you've such a beautiful, wonderful little town, and I would love to know more about the soul of it. So what's up with this dead guy?
Absolutely nothing. And there is nothing suspicious at all whatsoever about that. So on with your tour, and Jacob, less of the mortality.
1 in 2 marriages ends in divorce.
But then one doesn't. Wasn't it? Where's the rest of the guests? You four head along up there with young Schmeichel there, and I'll go see to the rest. And he's just kind of looking.
Pretty sure they're all divorcing.
Oh, they're true soulmates. You never know. And shoot, come on, get out of here.
Listening, just one thing before I go. He does like to be called Chase, apparently.
I will take your advice in accordance. Young Chase, if you wouldn't be so kind as to finish the tour, and don't forget the gift shop. Chase just rolls his eyes, but Hank, he kind of looks at you. Just his expression shifts like a tiny bit. It's just a small little meager. There's just a little less contempt on his face. Not smiling. He's just a little less annoyed at the world. He turns his back on the four of you, and he starts to head up this road that's leading towards these stone steps that climb a short little hill. So we're now standing at a famous pond that looks apparently like a teardrop, but how would anybody know what a teardrop looks like in Wintercame? Because everybody is always happy. Apparently, this is where Hedana apparently took her bath on a regular basis, and that's why the pond is locally known as Hedana's Tear.
That's very interesting. Whoever that Hedana one is.
Did Hedana kill the guy from last year?
No, he died of heartache.
But you just said everyone's always happy here.
Yeah, not that guy.
I just feel like you're conflicting stories here that I am now interested and invested in unpacking.
Well, and Chase just kind of looks around a little bit, and he leans in. Apparently, at last year's festival, a local lord died of heartache. But to be honest with you, I don't really think corpses froth at the mouth and get all bloaty if it's heartache.
So someone proclaimed that it was heartache, but in actuality, he was having some sort of medical crisis?
That's what the mayor said.
Interesting. Is the mayor bad? Is that a weird question to ask? I don't know. He seems kind of off to me. And he's got those little flying babies all around him. Any idea what that's about?
The babies are new to me. I think it's just a sad, pathetic, last-ditch attempt to make this town not be crap.
Your ennui for life is just delightful.
Some people say I'm contagious. Now, if I could kindly show you 4 delightful singles to the gift shop, would you be so and then as he's speaking, there's just a and you just hear the sloshing of water. Standing there in the pool, you see half dressed Tiffany, her hair slicked back. Oh, good morning.
Well, hello there. Going for a morning dip, I see. Is everything all right? That was a little alarming here.
I just as the the pond and the story of that goddess that used to wash herself here. Well, one goddess to another. I suppose I just replenishing myself.
Goddess.
That old one.
Yeah. Looks like there's still an old one in there.
As she gets closer to you, you all see that her fingernails are dirty. Like she seemed to if she was washing herself, her hands have there's grit and silt under her fingernails, and she's looking a little more flustered than someone that would be going for a dip.
Is she facially is she still wrinkled and older than?
She's just flustered. She doesn't look as together as she did yesterday when you first saw her in the carriage, but she's looking a little flustered. Everybody give me a perception check.
Okie dokie.
16.
13.
5.
21.
Barbara, Mal, and Hank, over the top of the trees that sort of circle the pond, just east, kind of coming up over the steps that you had climbed to get up here to the pond. You see 4 very vicious looking winged babies with bows and arrows drawn, and they are fixed on the 6 of you standing there as they draw their arrows back. Everybody give me an initiative check. Stay tuned for part 2 of Couples Retreat, a 2-part special from Romancing the Dungeon, featuring John from 5e Trash and Nate from Dice and Desire. And if you want to stay up to date with all things Romancing the Dungeon, including sneaky little details for Season 2, make sure you're following us on social media at D8 Dungeon, or join our Discord server. Just search for Romancing the Dungeon. We're back in 2 weeks. We'll see you then.